This Anthony Davis and Luka Doncic trade is probably the biggest in NBA history and arguably one of the biggest trades in the history of sports. But after giving myself some time to process, I'm ready to talk about what this means for the Lakers' future and what moves we can currently make to allow us to compete for a championship this season. Let's talk about it. Before we get started, if you could do me a huge favor and drop a like on the video and make sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on any future Lakers and other sports content. So probably the best place to start is the trade itself. Let's give it a quick breakdown. It was a 3-team deal. The Lakers received Luka Doncic, Maxi Kleber, and Markieff Morris. The Mavericks acquired Anthony Davis, Max Christie, and the Lakers' 2029 first-round pick. And the third team was the Utah Jazz, and they received Jalen Hood-Schifino, a Clippers 2025 second-round pick, and a Mavericks 2025 second-round pick. Just as a quick note, the Jazz actually made out fairly well in this trade. They acquired a expiring contract with JHS and 2 second-round picks that carry some pretty decent value. But of course, the main headline, the biggest story, was obviously the Lakers and the Mavericks. Now, before we get into who won the trade and where do the Lakers go from here, what moves can they make, all that good stuff, we have to start with LeBron James and Anthony Davis. I think I can speak for a lot of Lakers fans when I say that this hits different. When the Lakers acquired Anthony Davis, we knew that AD and LeBron were on the same page in terms of the ultimate goal, which was to win a championship. But we had the privilege to see their relationship grow from teammates to friends to the best of friends. And we saw that chemistry both on and off the court. And I'll be honest, I didn't think this duo would break up until LeBron retired. So to see that he got traded to the Mavericks like this, it definitely hits a little bit different. And I think I can speak for everyone when I say that Anthony Davis will always be a Laker. He will go down in history as one of the great Laker bigs. We wish him nothing but the best. And I thank him for the time and dedication that he gave to the Lakers franchise. And of course, not to be forgotten, Max Christie. Man, it was a hell of a thing to watch Max Christie grow and develop his game. He is becoming a really solid 3-and-D guard/wing. And honestly, I think he's going to become an elite 3-and-D guard. And he's going to generate a ton of value for years to come. I'm so proud of Max Christie, man. He's only 21 years old. The sky's the limit for him. The Mavericks definitely got a good one. Throughout his time as a Laker, even when he was being held hostage under Darvin Ham, he handled his entire situation and career with straight professionalism. And you cannot take that away from him. I'm always respecting Max Christie. I respect the way he developed his game, his work ethic, and how he just stuck to the grind and waited for his opportunity. And he took full advantage of it, and we saw that this year. Thank you, Max Christie. Again, as a Laker, you will always be a Laker, and I wish you nothing but the best. All right, so now that we got that out the way, let's talk about who won this trade and, of course, where the Lakers are going to go from here. Now, it depends on how you look at it. If neither team makes another trade for the rest of the season, I'm going to give the edge to the Mavericks here. With the addition of Anthony Davis, you still have Gafford, you still have Lively, Klay Thompson, Kyrie Irving, PJ Washington. This Mavericks team is going to be very difficult to score against. Their defense is pretty much solidified. They have athleticism, they have length, they have competitive energy. And to be honest, they had that before they acquired arguably the best defensive player in the NBA. So again, without any additional moves, the Mavericks still have a formidable roster. Now, the Lakers, on the other hand, well, we got Luka. All right. I mean, those of you who are upset with the Lakers for making this move, please consider if a team calls you up and offers you Luka, you don't say no. Okay. This was more about what the Lakers were getting with Luka and less about what they were losing with Anthony Davis. The Lakers were literally given an offer that they couldn't refuse. So they didn't. Now, what does this mean in terms of how the Lakers got better? Well, one thing that not a lot of people are talking about, you have Luka, you have DFS, and even though he's hurt right now, you have Christian Wood. Those are 3 former Maverick players that all play together. So that could potentially lead to some immediate chemistry. And of course, you have LeBron James. Whenever you pair 2 of the highest IQ players in the league, they're going to find a way to make it work. Remember, a lot of people question whether Luka and Kyrie could make it work, but they were both intelligent basketball players and highly skilled, and they just came off a trip to the finals. So now you're pairing Luka with LeBron James, who's arguably the greatest basketball player of all time. Trust me, Luka and LeBron are going to find a way to make it work. Plus, you have to consider how we got to this situation in the first place. Based on reportings, the Mavericks grew frustrated with Luka's overall lack of professionalism, especially considering how he didn't really take his conditioning and his health seriously. They weren't comfortable offering a supermax to that type of player, even someone as good as Luka. Now, who better to mentor a young player with those type of issues or challenges than someone who's played in the league 22 years at a very high level, a 4-time champion and finals MVP, and arguably the greatest basketball player of all time. When it comes to somebody taking you under their wing, it doesn't get much better than LeBron James. Now, with that being said, that doesn't mean that the Lakers are done. No way. There's still holes in this roster that need to be filled if the Lakers are going to seriously contend for a championship this season and going forward. And in my opinion, the absolute priority is a center. Again, you lost Anthony Davis, and I'm sorry, Jackson Hayes just isn't going to cut it. We need a legitimate starting caliber big. My personal preference, top tier, you have Walker Kessler and Miles Turner. Now, before you tell me that neither of them are a realistic option, we just traded Anthony Davis for Luka. I don't want to hear it. All right, let's take a look at how some of these trades can go down. First up is Walker Kessler. I talk about him so much in my previous videos. You guys know how I feel about him. I think he would be excellent on this team. And let's keep it simple. We offer Dalton Connect, our 2031 first round pick. We remove the protections from our pick that the Jazz already have, which is a first rounder. Boom, done deal. Now, do we know if this is going to work? No, we don't. The Utah Jazz have been playing hardball with us, so we don't know exactly what their asking price is. But if it is an option on the table, this, in my opinion, is the best that we can offer. Now, Miles Turner is a little bit different. He's making just under $20 million a year. So we're going to need a little bit more in terms of salary. So we offer Rui Hachimura, Dalton Connect, and our 2031 first round pick. Boom, done deal. Now, again, we don't know exactly what the asking price is going to be from the Pacers, but at the same time, unless we include our first round pick and our second round pick that we currently have, this is the best deal that we can offer. Now, if Walker Kessler or Miles Turner are not available, then we're kind of moving into that second tier of centers. Nick Claxton, Robert Williams, and in my opinion, someone that we should be looking into, Day'Ron Sharpe. And honestly, out of those three centers, Day'Ron Sharpe is actually my favorite choice. A lot of it has to do with the fact that it reminds me of the Walker Kessler situation. He's young. He's only 23 years old. He's on a very friendly contract. He's making less than $4 million a year. And at his age, he's only going to get better. And we technically don't know what he could look like being slotted into a starting role. Perhaps he emerges into a prospect that's better than we even thought. So here's what that trade could look like. Remember, we have to send out more salary than we take back in. So we could stack Dalton Connect and Jackson Hayes for Day'Ron Sharpe, and they can throw in like a Jalen Wilson just to make the contract work. Now, again, we don't necessarily know if the Nets would be open to this or what they would be looking for in terms of draft capital, if any. They might see Dalton Connect and say, you know what, let's just get this done. But if they are asking for draft capital, perhaps we throw in our second round pick and we just get that deal done. I don't believe they're in a position to ask for first. So that's a quick breakdown of who I think the Lakers should go after in terms of top prospects at the center position. Now, what about the guard play? Well, it depends on how these different trade scenarios work out, of course. But what makes the most sense to me, and I know a lot of you are going to disagree with this, but I have mentioned it before in the past, Lonzo Ball. He just makes too much sense to me. He's a point of attack defender that, in my opinion, fits almost perfectly alongside Luka. I understand it's a risk. I understand that. But it is a risk that could have a tremendous payoff. His numbers don't look that great, but again, he's still on minutes restriction. And think about it like this. Even on a minutes restriction, he's still averaging almost 2 steals a game, 1.5. That's insane. He's still athletic. He's still quick. He's explosive. And he is another ball handler that you could add to this roster. So that's 3 ball handlers that you're comfortable with. You have Luka, you have Lonzo, and you have LeBron. And I also like the flexibility that you have in terms of stacking those minutes. Lonzo Ball can be your primary ball handler when Luka goes to the bench. When LeBron goes to the bench, you have Luka and Lonzo, so on and so forth. And not to mention, he's going to get that shot back and he's going to get better looks because you have Luka and LeBron drawing so much attention and being such great playmakers that they're only going to create opportunities for someone like Lonzo to get more and better shot attempts. Because if we're being honest, with Luka on the team, there's a good chance that we end up trading Austin Reeves. So we're not going to have him as an option in terms of scoring or playmaking. So Lonzo just makes that much more sense in that situation. But that's just me. Let me know what you think in the comments. Drop a like on the video as always. I appreciate your patience. I know that last video I put out, I was kind of rambling and just a little discombobulated because I was in shock like a lot of us were. But hopefully this one was more structured. I was able to talk basketball and present some trade scenarios that you find interesting. I love to talk about it with you guys. But that's going to wrap this one up. If you enjoyed the video, go ahead and drop a like. Subscribe if you haven't already. And I'll catch you on the next one. Here.